welcome to MindBody TV. As we are starting the new year, you may have noticed how much you're beginning to feel as a sensory being, as an empath, or even if you never knew you considered yourself an empathic being. Right now, our heart's chakra, the fourth energy center in the body, is being activated, is being opened. What does this mean? We go through life kind of learning to shut down. We learn not to feel what we feel. We learn not to express what it's not safe. You got to keep it in here. And even as kids, we learn no, what you feel is wrong. Mommy's not mad. I'm just fine. And you begin to distrust what your energy center is communicating with you, what your body's communicating with you, and the information that comes in. And our bodies are also very, very electromagnetically sensitive. If you walk into a field where there are people who are really angry, it's a lower frequency field. Your body will register this and kind of shut down. And you might even feel physically your shoulders kind of hunch in and curve in and physically protecting this area, the heart. So you want to unwind that physically and let yourself have the courage to show up and tune into what you feel. We move through life this way. Even, like I said, electromagnetically being susceptible to the energies around us. We've been in a really low frequency environment with a lot of fear just on the planet globally. Now, the frequency of the planet is increasing. Really, really dramatically accelerating. And we have satellites that can monitor this. It's called the Schumann frequency, that these satellites monitor what is the electromagnetic frequency of the planet as a whole. And we can look at different areas specifically. So pretty fascinating that it's had this massive, massive, sharp incline over the last several years. We are feeling this. We are electromagnetic beings. Our bodies are always registering different information, but we've been trained to function here in the mind and the head and just focus on what the brain already knows and to shut down the other energy centers in our body. Well, this isn't going to let us access the information and awareness and intelligence that lets us create not only global harmony, how can we all live on the planet in harmony, but even individual harmony. What does my body really need to be at its highest level of vitality? What do I need to eat? What do I need to do for my activity? What people can I be around or activities can I engage in? When we shut down our energy centers, we really don't access any of that. So then you got to read 45 books to figure out what's the diet for me and what should I eat and what should I do, and try to figure it out in the mind. But it changes so quickly. What your body needs minute to minute, day to day, year to year is different. So can you be a fully functioning, awake, alive, receptive being in all of these different levels so that you have this awareness and you can choose accordingly? Now, if you have felt this, as we're beginning 2020 and the 20s, this whole decade, we literally have completed with the delusion of separation, with the world of I'm separate from you, so if you have more, that means I have less, or the idea that I've got to beat down those around me in order to get ahead and have enough, or I've got to accomplish and do more, so then I'll be valuable and be worthy and will get my needs met. All these things that exist in these lower frequency consciousnesses that really keep us suppressed. So we're moving as this heart opening is happening. It's happening for everybody, whether it's experienced as, oh my God, my husband just left me, my life fell apart, this is the end of the world, this is a bad thing. In the mind, it can be perceived that way. Or I've experienced loss and grief and I'll never let this go. I don't want to feel. Or you may be feeling deep senses of appreciation and love and joy with the slightest of things. You look at a picture or someone posts something or something happens and you just feel so much. And even that joy can feel like it's just breaking you open. It can feel kind of painful in some way because it is breaking you open. So know that it's not just you. You're not the only one experiencing this. Everyone in whatever way is experiencing what's happening, experiencing this heart opening. So thanks for coming in. I know we kind of had to restart the live, so welcome to the second live. And to those of you listening to the podcast or the recording, watching the recording, I will check in for the comments if there are certain things that come up for you as you're listening. Randy says, I've been expanding in the heart and my brain practice, expanding in the heart and my brain practice for quite a while now, and it impacts many areas of my life. But when it comes to my creativity and the business I'm creating, I feel so often stuck. I only get little spurts of writing or painting done, and then weeks and months of not doing much or feeling like I'm sabotaging myself or meeting a part of me that feels despair and I'm not good enough and I can't do enough, but it doesn't seem to be clearing, so I can't consistently create. So that's not actually true. The reason you're not consistently creating is because you're not, it's not that you need to be doing that right now consistently. You're not consistently creating because you're not fully anchored and integrated into the heart open life, fully open. And so the first piece before the creativity comes in 3D, like a blog or a business, it must integrate to enough of a degree in 5D that you've actually begun to let it come in cellularly. And all the ways you're making yourself wrong for not creating enough and it's not here yet and why isn't it this in 3D are actually you're missing it. It's just distracting you. So if you could just spend say it's, 20 minutes a day, an hour a day in the quote unquote business, but in the heart, receiving, getting the downloads, opening your heart, feeling what you feel, feeling the despair, just meeting that, even if it's 15 minutes. That's actually 15 minutes of you participating in that business, so to speak. Yeah, the mind doesn't get it. It's no, if I'm doing my business, I'm writing or I'm talking to a client or I'm making money. But actually the integration of this higher consciousness and this way of functioning to be fully receptive is what will establish your business in 3D the most quickly when it's the moment for that. So one more thing I was going to say about that. You can't birth that business until you've got enough of that receptivity coming through. So the thing that will create more receptivity is you just meet yourself today I love you, I choose my heart, even though I feel so grungy today. Because for me, it used to be okay, I choose to be in my heart. Oh no, but I'm feeling grungy. I got to clear that, and I got to clear this, and I got to feel better, and I got to feel lighter, and I got to feel love and joy. Or I'm doing it wrong. And then all the layers that weren't that, I thought were more work to do. But all that we're being asked to meet is just meet that grungy stuff that we're feeling. Here I am, and yes, I still choose to be in an open-hearted space. I still choose to feel what I'm feeling rather than shut down. So then the information gets registered, but yeah, at first it's deciphered through our own judgment, our own perception of lack and inadequacy, our own perception that we're separate and that we don't have what we need, blah, 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 blah. So it won't always feel comfortable. Mary says, sometimes I feel I'm too open, too receptive, and too aware that it becomes overstimulating and overwhelming. And this is one of the points I wanted to speak to today because many of us are going to feel this. You're there, we're in 2020, the energy's here, it's inescapable. And going back to the shutdown is not going to work. It's not even going to be available anymore. To shut down and think you can function through a day. Because all that's going to get created is more chaos. So why does it feel so overwhelming? It's where we're holding judgment. I met with someone yesterday who's been on my team and was becoming aware of these places where she would compromise herself. And actually, same thing for a private client I met with yesterday, another woman who's also aware of where she's compromising herself, abandoning herself, betraying, even though she knows what her real needs are. And then there was the beatdown of why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? I shouldn't be doing that. I should know better. Well, that's where the discomfort comes. When we become open and receptive, but then we still get judgment and this inner beatdown, and we're still carrying those programs. So what if we could be open and receptive and let ourselves feel all of it as it is and know that the discomfort is just indicating where we're ready to release judgment, where we're ready to embrace unconditional love and accept it as it is. I accept myself as I am right now in this moment. That'll actually neutralize the resistance, like neutralize your judgment on what you're feeling and perceiving. It'll neutralize your fear about what you're feeling and perceiving. So then what you're feeling and perceiving is just fluid. It's just information. It's just awareness. It's just energy. Okay. Heather says, it seems like every half an hour or so, I have to go to a corner and quietly breathe. Yeah, that's no surprise. The energies are really, really intense right now, and there's so much that's getting integrated. At least you know to do that. A lot of people in the collective are still functioning in the fear and the programs of, but I have to suppress it, I have to suppress it, I have to suppress it. So they'll take more medication or distract more with activities like maybe I'm going to eat a whole chocolate cake or just binge watch Netflix or, shut down or go have sex with someone I don't even know or drink a bunch of alcohol. And they think like, well, temporarily that will make me feel better. It's worked in the past. It's not going to even be available anymore. Like it won't actually work anymore. So then the thought is like, oh my God, the world is really ending. A lot of suicidality is exactly this process. Trying harder and harder to suppress, and finding like, oh my God, it's not working anymore. I must be failing. I'm not doing it right. And then the never-ending hunt to find more ways to suppress because we think that's our strength. We think the heart opening is a weakness and feeling everything so intensely is a weakness because this is what we've been taught. We've actually been, it's like a program that shuts us down from what we already know. Yes, we do innately know I'm beautiful and amazing as I am. Yes, we do innately know I can feel and sense what I feel and sense and let the information move through. Children do this. Yes, we do intuitively know I can trust what I know and what I feel and act on what's true for me. But, it's conditioned out of us. So she says, I have to constantly reset or everything becomes too much. So if you do that reset in a way that actually expands you and nurtures you, you'll find that you'll move forward and need less of that. Like you're integrating things more fully. You're integrating love more fully. You're integrating self-love and self-acceptance more fully. But if someone were doing like, I'm going to go to a corner and breathe and just try to get myself together and suppress and then come back out and put on a good face, I'm good, I'm strong, I don't feel anything, that won't actually create expansion. And I don't think that's what you're doing. So for everyone, and this is really why I created the Instant Elevation, this is what we're doing in the Embracing Health live program for those of you who are working with me live in the year-long program. This is the heart opening. This is assisting you in aligning with the technology of your body. So you access pure awareness. So you access your wisdom. So you literally let the cellular repatterning and brain repatterning happen in your body. Alice says, hello from Seattle. I accidentally stumbled upon you a couple of months ago and you changed my life. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you, beautiful. Well, I've definitely, through how I've been functioning in a heart-opening space, to the degree that I've functioned with a heart-open space, follow my own awareness of leaving medicine, leaving conventional medicine in the emergency room and creating something more expansive, leaving my osteopathic practice, which was about like, get me out of pain, fix my knee, fix my headache, and creating a forum for my, mind-body medicine practice that really had space for all my gifts to come through, even though I didn't understand what they were. And so letting even just a little bit of heart opening, because sometimes it's so hard, like we really just want to go back to the default pattern and shut down. But even in those really hard moments, just taking a breath and living 10 seconds to 10 seconds will access you to way more resource, money, love, nurturance, just synchronicities happening where you're like, oh, that was easy. And also the awareness of what to create, what to do, where to go, how to do things that will sustain you and create really a beautiful life. So, that's kind of what has created the most for me is really living that way, even when it's been hard. Jessie says, I'm a mom of 5. And I know I'm compromising many parts of myself. How do you flow through those parts that are compromised? Well, you actually begin to awaken and see, like, first with compassion for yourself, because the pain you may be feeling, or discomfort, or just flatness of like, I guess life is just not that great, is that compromised part, like, talking to you, like, I'm not happy here. I'm not having a good time. And so to listen to yourself with compassion, like, I'm sorry, what do you need? Let me rearrange things. Let me make new choices. Let me go forward in a different way, instead of the old program where I don't even ask myself, what do I want in the equation? I just focus on everyone else and get that taken care of first, which there's never going to be second, right? Because there's more and more and more needs everyone else outside you has. It's going to keep going like a hamster on a wheel. So are you willing to center into the heart? And let's just do a practice right now quick. So take a breath and feel your body. Take a few breaths and feel your breath, and let it slow down even just a little bit, and let it deepen even just a little bit. Relax your body, relax your shoulders. And then bring your attention to the space in your heart. You could put your hands there. And then feel this, just presence it, like if you just bring your awareness to what you feel, or tap on this area of your body to get more sensation there, so your nervous system can bring the information in that's happening here. A lot of times we haven't checked in so long that when we check in, we go, I don't feel anything. But that's only because the connections haven't been practiced enough to register what we are feeling. You are feeling 100%. You are registering information in every energy center of your body. But if they're not open, you're not perceiving it. So just take a few moments to say hi to your heart. Hey there. I want to know. I want to feel what you're feeling. I love you. I'm ready to open. I'm sorry all the ways I've shut down. Let's open. I want to perceive the information, the wisdom, the intelligence that's registering cellularly in this energy center of my heart. And just breathe a few breaths for that. Just starting the process. We have seen scientifically that there are different kinds of neurons, sensory neurons that take in information, that live in the area around the heart. So it's like its own little brain receiving intelligence. And we can access this, and this is exactly what's happening right now, which might feel so discombobulating. There's actually a process we're in. So one other thing I want to say about that is it can happen in ways where you're like, whoa, I feel more clarity and joy than I've ever felt in my life. And then boom, oh my God, I'm at the pit of despair beyond anything I've ever had, or the panic attack I haven't had for 20 years, and now that's back up. Well, it's just those old remnants that have actually still been suppressed also coming up to clear to make more space for joy. So we stabilize into joy, into love. And love is, I honor all that is as it is. When we're moved with grief or fear or whatever it is, and we embrace it and let it move, it is pure love. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience of compassion. In the Embracing Health program, that's really what we're integrating, is the ability to embrace all that is as it is, embrace myself as I am, which is like the only thing you're really here to do as a human being. And that's at drkimd.com/health. If you'd like more information on my year-long program, you can join at any time. It's a great time to join right now because we're at the beginning of the year. We did do this really powerful January group call, which was integrating more of the infinite self, the connection with the infinite self, so that we're neutralizing the judgment and the fear and the shame and the grief, and letting ourselves experience all that is resource, abundance, all the expansion that's really available. So it was a really powerful call, and access that if you're, whenever you're joining. Callie says, I'm definitely feeling the push to be more in my heart, but I'm also feeling so much resistance and judgment. Yeah, and you can just ask yourself, am I willing to release this, or do I want to continue to hold this? And just the awareness of that conscious choice is enough to let things shift. She says, I'm experiencing some colitis symptoms lately and have fluctuated back and forth on what to do, from I just need to slow down and love myself more to I need to cut out a bunch of foods and use more medicine. So either of those can be a control manipulation, like beat down. I got to just love myself more. Okay, I just got to embrace it as it is. But I'm actually still being hard on myself. And then a lot of people will say this to me, but I don't know how. Well, if we're doing it as part of that like inner beat down, like you can't know how, because you can't know how from here, the mind and the old patterns. You can only do it from here in the heart, to begin to let the opening happen, begin to let yourself feel what you feel, and begin to let, relax your body through that process, and begin to release the judgment you have on what you're feeling and the judgment you have on yourself. So it will guide you through the process. She says, I'm also feeling a push to return to creative endeavors, but I haven't touched in months. But part of me is scared that I won't be able to make anything good enough. I'm having trouble with letting go of that idea. So it would be the same process. Like you go into those creative endeavors and then all the old voices come up like, you're crap, this is useful, you shouldn't be doing this, why are you doing this, this isn't, you should be productive. Like it's gonna try to get you out of it. So meet that discomfort. Even if it's only 10 minutes that you're like, all right, I'm going to sit there in my creative room and feel like shit and hear all the thoughts telling me like, you're not getting anywhere, you shouldn't do this. But if you just do it, but do it consciously and breathe, you will become aware. You will become awakened. You will see it and go, oh, these voices, these ideas, these judgments. Yes, I embrace all of this exactly as it is, and just, take another moment. Julie says, anyone else not sleeping much? I feel like I'm awakened at night because that is the only time I'll truly slow down to be with it fully. I have a great opt-in on my front page of my website at drkimd.com. It's a free opt-in, and it's like a video and an audio and a few resources around sleep. So if you go to drkimd.com, it's down toward the bottom. It's this sleep audio. Or you can go to drkimd.com/sleep. But one of the things I talked about in that video is we're running on this like treadmill of high energy, of shut down, suppressive separation consciousness, suppressive frequency. And then we're like, okay, now we'll go to sleep and have a break. And that'll actually no longer work. We've got to begin to integrate harmonic living, or like open-hearted living, in our day in order to be able to have a restorative sleep at night. Like we can't keep doing this like, oh, now I'll just shut down and then sleep comes over me and then get up and get on that hamster wheel again in self-suppression and disconnection. Because what's required in order for us to go into a restorative sleep, because this is actually a really active time for the brain and nervous system, for our endocrine system, everything, to integrate our day, it's got to be doable. Like we're so overloaded that the system's like, I can't even manage this in sleep. It can't shut down. But if we begin living our days with more awareness, presence, softness, even 2%, you will find that your body can more easily slide down into restorative sleep. But there's more about it in that video. Okay. Anne says, clearing a sinus and ear infection with intense vertigo. Yeah, vertigo is another thing that comes up when we're shifting frequencies and ascending really, really quickly because the body's trying to integrate new information. I'm making time to be in the heart and breathing and releasing. Am I missing something? Feeling lots of resistance. Yeah, the more present you are, the more you're going to notice the judgment you've held, the fear you've held, the resentment you've held, the resistance that you've held. So don't make it wrong that it's louder as it's moving through. Christine says, I'm really trying to release judgment, but I'm struggling because nothing's changing. Yeah, that's your judgment. Because the judgment is like, okay, I'm going to embrace my heart, and it better change because it's not okay as it is. So the thing you think needs to change is actually the thing you're being asked to embrace. I like that it feels so much. I'm okay to being open to that, but I'm shutting down because I don't even know what brings me joy or what's true for me. I just feel lost. Well, it can't show up until you tune in. So keep being willing to tune in even though you don't like what you're getting, because that's the judgment. Kali says, I'm definitely feeling the push to be more in my heart, but I'm also feeling so much resistance and judgment. Feeling judgmental about the appearance of my body. There's a lot of fluctuation. I would love to feel more neutral about it instead of this up and down. Yeah, so collectively, we've really bought into these ideas about our body being inadequate. These ideas about our body being acceptable conditionally. These ideas about our body, they're supposed to be this, this, and that. And it hurts. It literally creates contraction physically and shuts down health. Like when we hold that idea. So are you willing to keep listening to what the programs say about your body and how it should be and what your body actually is? Like the programs say, my body's a way to get what I want. If I look the right way, I can get, more love, more acceptance, more money. If I act the right way, if I do the right thing, it's all conditional. So are you willing to let go of those ideas about what your body is supposed to be? What your body actually is? Because your body is a portal to divinity. Your body is a manifestation tool. Your body is a transmutation device. And when you learn the technology of the body, and we're just talking about the one energy center of the heart, you really begin to have a whole new appreciation of what your body really is. Okay, Lois, I'm also having sleep problems as though my body is vibrating and can't calm. Yeah, I was experiencing that too. So everything you can do to harmonize yourself during the day, and a lot of it is just the awareness of like, where am I living not in alignment with my truth? Where am I living in that shutdown? That will allow sleep to be a lot more restorative. Heather Pert says, how long is this heart opening supposed to be sped up? So we are just integrating unity consciousness, and that's where we reside. We are already functioning there, and that's really why I can connect with someone on the other side of the world and immediately know what's going on in their body and immediately know what is ready to release and immediately assist and harmonize for them in a way that they can receive. So I've been functioning in unity consciousness for most of my life, but I hadn't brought all of me into that space. Like a lot of me was still anchored into the system of, I got to do this thing and I got to do that thing. And I don't tell anybody about that because that won't go over well, and buying into that collective. So it lasts as long as it takes for each of us to emerge fully into unity consciousness, into the heart opening, into basically it's just the integration of I embrace myself exactly as I am. And so you might move back and forth for a little while until that completes. Okay, I'm going to look at a few more questions. Chris says, so much is coming up for me. I left my marriage 13 years ago, and I thought I had processed the grief and loss of that time period. Had lots of therapy regarding this, but the guilt and loss is resurfacing. Yeah, and I mentioned this earlier on, that those bottom layers, like you've released a lot of it, but then the depth of maybe self-betrayal or where you've compromised or abandoned yourself, like those deeper layers are coming up now. Now that there is more love available, there is more access, you are more open, even deeper things can complete. I've been struggling with SIBO for over the last year. I know that I'm stuck. My body is screaming to let go of the past. I'm having trouble loving myself. The judgment and the guilt is screaming. Well, that's what's there for you to embrace. Not to make it go away or to, finally it's over, now I'm free. Like, you're not separate from it. This is what's here for you to embrace, so that you experience yourself whole. So see if that goes somewhere. Roma says, I find my family members are going through this so intensely right now. It pulls me back into it. Well, yeah, it can trigger the places where you haven't completed it yourself, which is a gift, because then you can see right away in the mirror of that relationship where you're still judging yourself, where you're still holding onto the idea that you're separate. Especially I'm physically exhausted, especially my husband, who's fighting all that existed. But he keeps repeating his behavior because he doesn't know how to accept it. Well, and the more you complete, the more they will actually come into resolution more easily. Because it is really powerful to be in the electromagnetic frequency of someone who embodies pure love. That's why, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago with like the hopelessness and the despair that have been coming up. That's why the antidote to that is to presence compassion in your heart, to presence love in your heart, or just presence your heart. Just feel this area. Even if all you do is look eyes on that person's eyes who is suffering. You don't know what to say. You know what to do. I got to go away. I got to fix it. I got to make them feel better. No. Or I got to just teach them about they're creating their own reality and then they'll get it. No. That'll do the opposite. But just to presence what you feel and hold the space for what you feel while you're with them is the most powerful way to assist their awakening. And it does transmute energy. Even if they're still dying of, maybe they just got shot or they have cancer or whatever, like maybe the outcome doesn't change, but the energy of it completely changes. It is more important than ever for us to begin to appreciate how much we are shifting and changing energy. So if we look at like, well, but the cancer cells are still there. They haven't changed. Nothing's changed. The physical resolves as a result of the electromagnetic change. Not so that then you can have an electromagnetic change and feel better and, oh, I'm so glad to be alive. Thank God I don't have that cancer. I have to get rid of that cancer and then I'll feel better. It's the opposite. If I can bring myself into more lightness and love, literally those cellular diseases can't exist. And it's only a matter of time until there's a dissolution. But it isn't about the physical. It isn't about waiting for or looking for that cellular proof. It's about fully acknowledging the energetic and electromagnetic reality that is more real. I get that we're functioning in this physical space where we're totally identified as physical and we think that that's what's quote unquote real. And therein lies the conundrum of how we unwind this, because as much as we're physically focused is as much as we're shutting down this higher perception of reality. We are registering electromagnetic information. We can register instantaneous change. Whoa, everything just changed. And it's only a matter of time until the physical reflects that. Everything just changed. And it's irrelevant how long it takes for the physical to reflect it. But for many people, it's the opposite. I gotta make sure I'm making a physical change, or I'm not doing it right. But to begin to acknowledge what's actually happening will give you a lot more strength and courage. Okay, good. So I want to complete. Oh, sorry, Rome, I didn't finish your question. I can't be around him, so I try to give myself a lot of space so I can breathe through this. Yeah, do what you need. That's gonna give you the space, but don't believe the idea that you can't be around him. You actually may have a lot more courage than you think. And this situation may be coming up specifically so that you finally access that courage, so that you finally access that strength, rather than think, no, I can't handle this. I've got to get away. Well, what if you see yourself big? What if you see yourself infinitely powerful? And you're like, let me take 10 seconds to sit in this and really let it stir up what's ready to stir up and release in me. She says, as soon as I'm in his presence again, it starts all over again. Yeah, I'm right on with this one. It's not there for you to walk away from it and run away from it anymore. It's there to bring up the stuff for you. I'm trying to let him have his feelings, but it's so intense. Yeah, what's coming up for you is so intense and you're trying to escape it. What's coming up for you is so intense and you're trying to make it go away by like somehow convincing him to not be this way. But what's coming up for you that's so intense is actually what you're being asked to embrace. So move toward it, not away from it. See what happens there, what gets created with that. I have seen a lot of really powerful things happen in relationships where a woman who's in a space of spiritual expansion and maybe doesn't even know how to describe it to her partner, but it's like, whoa, he's so shut down. He doesn't get any of this. And he is not interested in any of this. But being in that conclusion actually prevents you from experiencing him in a bigger way. And there have been several women who've come forward this week who've told me these amazing, miraculous things like, oh my gosh, I've experienced my husband in a whole new way, and he's opened in ways I never thought were possible. But it's really, A, because of the frequencies are expanding on the planet, increasing a lot, and B, she has integrated something really powerful, and there is love in that relationship. And when there's love, there's much more receptivity. So Claire says it's hard to do that when there's so much physical pain and fascial tension. Yeah, that's why we've got to begin to transmute what we're experiencing physically. When I did this in my body and there was unbelievable pain everywhere, I realized that every time I felt like the physical pain, I would immediately go into fear or anger or frustration or despair. Like, oh God, it's coming back or it's going to get worse. And I realized like, whoa, that's actually communicating a message to my fascia. That's communicating a message to my muscles. That's communicating a message to my nervous system about what's going on. And so of course my body's going to clamp down even more and be more inflamed, not less. So I had to actually change what was being perceived. Like people say, change your perception, it changes your reality. And it's this nice little bumper sticker. But it's actually a scientific and electromagnetic phenomenon. It does send new neurologic signals to your body. It does decrease inflammation, cellular inflammation. It does change the way the brain experiences sensation or pain. And so I began it myself. What if I sent love to that area of my body every time I felt that spasm and that pain and that fear and overwhelm? What if I relaxed every time I felt that and said, hey, body, I'm here. What do you need? You'll have more awareness of what's required and be able to meet that. And most importantly, you'll stop that cycle of recreating the tension and inflammation and pain. Okay. So everyone, thank you for being here. It's always so great to have so many people join us live. We do have the Embracing Health program running live. It's a year-long program where, we really move more into, there's audio calls every month, 2 calls that assist in integration, a cellular harmonization in your body and allow you to move through this expansion much, much, much more fluidly. So if that's something that speaks to your heart and it's something that you're ready to receive, it's at drkimd.com/health. And yes, I will be doing live retreats and events this year. We have a beautiful women's program in May. That's going to be a live retreat in the Phoenix area. And it's preceded by a 4-week online experience called Alive Woman, which is all about accessing this power of your body to create love in your life, love and health and vitality and abundance. And then, so you could do just the online portion. It's at drkimd.com/retreat. Or you can also sign up for the whole thing, which includes the 3.5 day retreat experience which will be really, really powerful and 100% life altering. So we've done these before and they've been really beautiful. So anyone who has, who you feel this resonating, that is on offer and you can go ahead and register. So for everyone, I look forward to hearing about your expansion. You can share in the MindBody community, post questions here if they come up later in this thread. And just know that, yeah, we're in a process and it may feel really uncomfortable. And it's all serving your expansion into wholeness. So whether you like it or not, this is where we are. And it is a truly beautiful life that's emerging and world that's emerging from within each of us. So do your best to make space for this, to stay present to what you feel and what's happening through you, and let life guide you. Always ask for what you need. What would it take for me to find more ease and source through this process so that I have all I need to keep moving through and keep expanding? Sometimes just knowing what's happening is enough. You're like, oh, still uncomfortable, but I get it and I'm good. I got what I need. And sometimes like maybe we do just really welcome in those resources because now we've aligned with that. So much love to all of you. Thank you for joining me. I'll be here every Wednesday live at 11 a.m. Mountain for MindBody TV. Bye.